Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. A woman gets married, has a beautiful ceremony, and shares a few photos. Simple enough, right? Except for the sister who decided her solution to jealousy was a staged engagement and a social media meltdown. Today in the rLounge, we're looking at what happens when jealousy meets creativity and a very convincing cubic zirconia. Entitled Mom asked me not to post wedding photos because my golden sister's jealous, so I posted every single one. So I, a 28 female, got married last week to my partner, 29 male, after dating for 4 years. We saved up for almost 2 years to pay for everything ourselves without going into debt. The ceremony was perfect despite some small hiccups. The florist delivered half the centerpieces late, but whatever. My sister, 25 female, was there with her boyfriend of 3 years. They've been together longer than my husband and I were before we got engaged, but he hasn't proposed yet. Throughout the entire day, I noticed she seemed off. During family photos, she barely smiled. At the reception, she sat at her table looking at her phone most of the time. We hired a photographer who did an amazing job capturing everything. When we got the photos back a week later, I was blown away. My husband looked handsome in his suit, the venue looked magical, and even I had to admit I looked pretty dang good in my dress. The photographer sent us over 300 photos, and I was excited to share some of my favorites online. Before posting anything, I sent a few preview messages to our family group chat. My dad responded with heart emojis. My husband's parents wrote paragraphs about how beautiful everything looked. But my sister just sent, "nice," and my mom didn't respond at all. I thought maybe she was busy, so I didn't think much of it. The next day, my phone rang. It was my mom. I figured she was calling to talk about the photos, but instead, she hit me with something completely unexpected. "Honey, I need to ask you a favor. Could you maybe not post your wedding photos online right now?" I was confused. "What? Why not?" "Your sister is going through a really tough time with Mark right now. Seeing your wedding photos all over social media would just crush her." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Mom, these are my wedding photos. Why would they upset her?" "You know how sensitive she is. Mark still hasn't proposed, and she's been dropping hints for months. Seeing you so happy and married is making her feel like a failure." This was ridiculous. I'd been waiting for this day my whole life, and now I couldn't even share it because my sister was jealous? After talking with my husband, we decided to compromise. Instead of posting the full album I'd planned, I selected just 3 photos. One of us at the altar, one of us at our first dance, and one group shot with both our families. I posted these with a simple caption thanking everyone who made our day special. Within minutes, my phone exploded with notifications. It wasn't congratulations, though. It was my sister. "Really? You just had to post these photos, didn't you? Everyone's commenting on how perfect your wedding was. You're such an attention seeker." I was shocked. I had specifically chosen the most neutral photos possible. Nothing flashy or over the top. Before I could even respond, my mom called again. "You need to take those photos down right now. Your sister is crying her eyes out. She's devastated. Why can't you just wait a few months? Is that so hard?" I was getting angry now. I told her that this was my wedding. I'm not hiding my marriage to protect her feelings. "You've always been so selfish. Your sister has always had a harder time than you. You need to be more considerate." After hanging up, I received screenshots from a relative of messages my sister had been sending to extended family. She'd been calling our wedding budget and embarrassing behind my back. She told our aunts that my dress looked off the rack. It was. And that the food was basically catered by a fast food joint. It absolutely wasn't. To my surprise, she didn't even deny it. "Yeah, I said those things, so what? You always get everything you want. Perfect grades, perfect relationship, perfect wedding. Some of us have to struggle." When I pointed out that we paid for everything ourselves and stayed within our means, she just responded with, "Whatever, Mom agrees with me." That was the last straw. I went back to my computer, opened the folder with all of our wedding photos, and started uploading them to Facebook and Instagram. Every single one. All 327 of them. The good ones, the blurry ones, the candid ones, the posed ones. I created a massive album and tagged my sister and mother in it with the caption, "Since my wedding photos are causing so much drama, here's every single one. Enjoy!" Then I turned off my phone and went to bed. The next morning I woke up to absolute chaos. There were dozens of text messages. My sister had blocked me on everything. My mom left a voicemail saying she would never forgive me for humiliating my sister like this. Meanwhile, my post had hundreds of likes and comments, with people congratulating us and commenting on how beautiful the wedding was. Several of my aunts and uncles messaged me directly to say they were happy for us and didn't understand what the big deal was about posting wedding photos. My dad, who's been divorced from my mom for years, called to tell me he was proud of me for standing up for myself. He said my mom had always favored my sister, but he never thought it would get this bad. My husband suggested we take a weekend trip to escape the drama, which sounded perfect. Before we left, I checked my messages one more time and found something interesting. A text from my sister's boyfriend. "Hey, I don't want to get in the middle of family stuff, but I wanted you to know your sister's been putting intense pressure on me to propose. She's been comparing our relationship to yours for months, and it's getting uncomfortable. Your wedding photos weren't the issue. It's that she wanted to be married before you. Just thought you should know." Everything suddenly made sense. This wasn't just about photos. This was about my sister not being able to handle me reaching a life milestone before her. While we were away on our mini honeymoon, I had time to reflect on all the instances where my mom had enabled this behavior. When we were kids, if I got a new toy, my sister would inevitably end up with something better the next day. If I achieved something, Mom would always find a way to center the conversation around how my sister was feeling about it. When we got back, I discovered my mom had been spreading lies about me to the family. She told people I had deliberately planned an extravagant wedding to overshadow my sister. Again, it was modest. And that I'd known her boyfriend was planning to propose soon. He clearly wasn't. I started digging through old family photos and found a clear pattern. My sister's birthdays were always elaborate affairs with professional photographers and custom cakes. Mine were usually just family dinner with a store-bought cake. For her sweet 16, she got a party with 50 guests and a DJ. For mine, I got dinner at a chain restaurant. The most shocking discovery came when I was helping my dad clean out some old files. I found a bank statement showing my mom had opened a wedding fund for my sister with $5,000 in it. This was while she had contributed exactly $0 to my actual wedding that just happened. I decided to post about these discoveries too, with receipts. I included photos of our drastically different birthday parties side by side and a redacted copy of the wedding fund statement next to my wedding budget that showed no contribution from her. The response was immediate. Family members who had been on the fence were now firmly on my side. A few days later, I got a barrage of texts from my sister. Apparently, her boyfriend had broken up with her, citing her toxic behavior and the pressure she'd been putting on him. Of course, she blamed me for ruining her life and said if I hadn't gotten married, they would still be together. Meanwhile, my sister had been calling in sick to work while posting photos of herself at a spa resort on social media, where she apparently went to recover from her breakup. Her boss saw the posts and fired her for dishonesty. The whole situation has been exhausting, but I don't regret posting those photos. And yes, those wedding photos are staying up. All 327 of them. Update. It's been almost 2 months since my last update, and I wish I could say things have calmed down, but my sister and mom have taken things to a whole new level of crazy. Thanks again for all the supportive comments on my previous posts. About 3 weeks after my last update, I discovered that my sister had created a fake social media account to harass me. At first, I started getting strange comments on my wedding photos from someone I didn't know. The comments weren't outright nasty, just passive-aggressive things like, "Dress looks a bit too tight, no?" And "Interesting venue choice for someone who claims to have taste." I didn't think much of it until I noticed the same account was messaging several of my wedding guests. A close friend forwarded me messages he'd received asking if these were problems in my new marriage and claiming my husband had been seen flirting with someone at a local bar. The account even suggested my marriage was already failing and that we were putting on a show for social media. The profile used a stock photo of a woman and claimed to be someone who knew me from work, but the writing style was unmistakably my sister's. She has certain phrases she always uses and makes the same spelling mistakes consistently. My husband was furious when he found out and decided to confront her directly. He took screenshots of everything and sent them to her with a simple message. "We know this is you. Stop harassing us and our friends, or we'll take this further." Her response? Complete denial despite the overwhelming evidence. She claimed she was being framed and that I was paranoid for thinking she would do something like this. Minutes after her denial, the fake account was deleted. My mom, predictably, jumped to her defense. She called me to say I was victimizing my sister by accusing her of something she would never do. When I mentioned this evidence, she said I was always looking for ways to make your sister look bad, and that I should focus on my marriage instead of creating drama. A few days later, I received an anonymous message from someone claiming to be a friend of my sister. They sent me screenshots of a conversation between my sister and mom planning to crash the housewarming party my husband and I had been planning. According to the messages, they were going to show up unannounced to call me out in front of our friends for ruining my sister's life. Thankfully, we hadn't sent out official invitations yet, just mentioned the date casually to family. We decided to change both the date and location of the party and only told people we absolutely trusted. We held it at a friend's house instead of our apartment as originally planned. On the original date, our neighbor, who knew about the situation, texted me that my sister and mom had shown up at our apartment building. They apparently stood outside for almost an hour, repeatedly buzzing our intercom. When no one answered, they started asking other residents about the party. My neighbor pretended not to know anything and even captured some of their meltdown on their security camera. The footage shows my mom and sister arguing in the parking lot, with my sister yelling that I must have found out somehow, and my mom insisting they should wait longer because maybe the party was starting late. They finally left after my sister had what appeared to be a full tantrum, complete with stomping feet. I was done playing nice. I compiled everything, the fake account messages, the screenshots of their party crashing plans, and the security footage, into a comprehensive timeline of harassment. I posted it all online with a simple caption: 2 months of harassment documented. This is why I've gone no contact with certain family members. The post quickly spread beyond just our family and friends, reaching community groups where my mom is known for her charity work and church involvement. Her carefully cultivated image of the perfect mother took a serious hit when people saw her actively participating in harassing her own daughter. Just when I thought things couldn't get more ridiculous, my sister announced her engagement on social media. According to her post, her new boyfriend of 3 weeks had proposed with a stunning diamond ring that she made sure to showcase in about 20 different poses. She tagged my mom in the announcement, who immediately began gushing about planning the wedding of the century. I was suspicious about the sudden engagement, especially given the extremely short relationship. Through a mutual connection, I learned that the diamond ring was actually cubic zirconia and cost less than $100. Not that there's anything wrong with affordable rings, but she was specifically bragging about how much bigger and more expensive it was than mine. My mom started reaching out to family members about contributing to my sister's dream wedding fund, explaining that my sister deserved an extra special day after all she'd been through. Unsurprisingly, no one contributed except my mom herself. The plot thickened when, about 5 days after the engagement announcement, I received a message from the supposed fiancé. He seemed confused and wanted to clear something up. He had never actually proposed to my sister. They'd only been on a few dates, and while he liked her, he was shocked to see the engagement announcement. The ring, he explained, was something my sister had bought herself. She had staged the proposal photos without his knowledge and posted them while he was away on a business trip. I forwarded his message to my mom, thinking surely this would be the wake-up call she needed to stop enabling my sister's increasingly concerning behavior. Her response left me speechless. "She's just manifesting her dreams. There's nothing wrong with that. You're trying to ruin this for her too." At this point, I realized there was no getting through to either of them. I decided to go low contact with my mom and no contact with my sister. I blocked my sister on everything and told my mom I would only communicate with her via email for the foreseeable future. My sister's fake engagement imploded spectacularly with her fiancé publicly commented on her announcement post that they were not, in fact, engaged, and that he was disturbed by her fabricating their relationship. She deleted her social media account shortly after, but not before several people had taken screenshots. My mom, still somehow defending her, sent me a final text blaming me for sabotaging my sister yet again, claiming I must have gotten to the boyfriend and convinced him to deny the engagement. I blocked her number after that message. My husband and I recently celebrated 3 months of marriage. I'm taking a break from social media now to focus on my marriage and some exciting new opportunities that have come up. To everyone who supported me throughout the crazy journey, thank you. Your mom and sister are completely unhinged, and you've been way too patient with them. Your sister wasn't sensitive. She wasn't having a hard time. She was throwing a full-blown tantrum because you dared to live your life and get married before she did. And your mom? She jumped right in like your sister's emotional support chihuahua, yapping at you to protect her grown daughter's feelings. You tried to be considerate. It was the fact that you were happy and she wasn't. Then the trash talking behind your back, the off-the-rack dress comments, the budget wedding. Please, that sounds like someone desperately trying to convince herself she's not jealous while actively combusting. Plus, it's actually nonsense and straight-up harassment. You did what you needed to do to protect yourself and your marriage. You're better off with both of them blocked. They deserve each other. What do you make of this? Do you have a similar story? Share it with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.